Laker fans, how we doing? My name is Sammy Long. This is another Laker preview video, doing one for every game this season, kind of getting you guys ready for the upcoming Laker matchup and some things to watch out for. The Lakers playing the Nuggets tonight. Big one. This is not a team that Laker fans are a fan of. I know I can't stand the Nuggets. Had the Lakers number the last 2 years, swept the Lakers 2 years ago, beat them in 5 games last year, and every game was close. The Jamal Murray buzzer beater, all these games were just super tight. The Lakers had leads in a lot of them. At one point, a 20-point lead in game 2, and came out on the short end of the stick in every game but game 4. So definitely wanting some get back. I'm going to talk about them a little bit later. I'll talk about that Russell Westbrook trade that all of us Laker fans would pretty much like to forget. There's some new things around that, some new reporting. But first off, we're going to talk about that game the other night. That was brutal. Trying to flush it 2 days ago. The Magic, that was a game the Lakers should have won. It was frankly disappointing. The Lakers felt like they had it, and they just let their foot off the gas, and they were kind of going through the motions. A random Thursday night in November, and they didn't really felt like they brought it. AD brought it. LeBron brought it. Dalton Connect brought it. The rest of the team didn't really do anything. AD, 39 points, 9 rebounds. I know he had the 2 missed free throws at the end of the game, which cost him, but I'm going to get into a quote in a minute from LeBron talking about, there was a lot of other opportunities in that game. LeBron, 31 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. It's unreal what he's been doing. It's unbelievable. We all know what he does. I got to shout out Cam Reddish as well. 8 points, 8 rebounds, 3 of 4 shooting, 2 for 2 from 3-point. Listen, if Cam Reddish is giving you that every night, that's unreal. That's 8 points for Cam Reddish is a big deal. So if you just look at the box score and you go, why is Cam Reddish playing? He's playing for his defense, and he's playing for impacting the game in other ways. And if he can chime in a little bit with a few buckets and 8 points, 8 rebounds is huge. So really impressed with what Cam Reddish has done. Kind of glad he's making the most of his opportunity. Austin Reeves, tough night, 9 points, 3 for 12 shooting. Connect was unbelievable, as usual. 7 for 14, 50% from the field, 17 points. The bench provided nothing. Koloko, 2 points. D'Lo, 7 points, 1 of 7 from 3. Gabe Vincent didn't attempt a shot. 0 points on 0 of 0 shooting. Come on, man. That can't happen. He's getting paid $11 million a year, and he's lost all of his confidence. Now he's not even shooting the ball. And you can tell he's in his head. And I got to give D'Lo credit at least. When D'Lo goes in slumps, he isn't scared to keep shooting. And I know that can be to draw the ire of some Laker fans, but at least he keeps going knowing that he's a shooter and he has to shoot out of it. Gabe Vincent, I don't know what the message is. I don't know how you get his confidence back. That's something that JJ Redick and his young coaching career and that staff really got to figure out, because you're going to need Gabe Vincent, and you can't pay him $11 million a year to really not do a lot. And Christie had 5 points, took 3 shots, 2 or 3 shooting. So he was all right, but really wasn't a lot of support from everyone else. And it's just an ugly game. You're going to have those, Wagner made an unreal shot, missed the free throws at the end of the game. You got to flush it. JJ Redick was talking post game about how he's literally goes into a dark room and watches film. Literally goes into a dark place after losses. You could tell that one stung, especially the Lakers. Kind of felt like it was 6-game win streak, and you're up on the Magic, and it's the Lakers going to win this game. But it goes to show, you take anyone lightly in the NBA any night, this is the things that's going to happen. LeBron said after the game, we had a 7-point lead at halftime, and they took the lead in the third. So there's a lot of game between the game. You can't just point to one thing. Obviously, you have your opportunity at the free throw line. We didn't capitalize, but we move on from that. As he talked about, they had a poor third quarter offensively. And they pushed the lead out. It's unacceptable to allow a Magic team that's averaging less than 107 points a game and shoots under 31% from 3-pointers to score 119 points and knock down 15 threes. That's not a winning formula. Listen, we talk about this every week. Every team gets up to play the Lakers. It's a big deal to play the Lakers. Lakers out of conference. It's one to flush, but it's a bummer because the schedule does get harder. Obviously, Nuggets tonight. Then you're looking at Phoenix, who are getting healthier. They're going to probably have Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant back for that game. So, got to flush it. Obviously, Lakers still sitting pretty at 10-5, but want to get a W tonight. Looking at that Russ trade. So, there was a report that came out from Jovan Buha, who's great, works for The Athletic. Talk about there's some finger pointing around the Russell Westbrook trade. He said, my understanding is yes, I think there's been accountability for the Russ trade. I also think there's been some finger pointing from all sides. There's several parties involved, several parties to blame. Obviously, the Stars were involved with it, but the front office and ownership ultimately signed off on it. and executed the trade. I think there's a lot of blame to go around for the Russ situation, and I think everyone's done a combination of taking accountability, but also finger pointing. Buha also noted that Pelinka has a really good relationship, quote, really good relationship with owner Jeannie Buss, and there are no plans to part ways with them. It's hard because you look back and everyone takes swings. So literally every team has bad trades, but you traded away KCP, who dogged the Lakers in the playoffs the last few years. Kyle Kuzma, who's been unreal for the Wizards, and every trade deadline has been linked to come back to the Lakers. A guy who would be great against Michael Porter Jr., a guy who's a three guard but has size and could match up, because the Lakers simply the last few years in the playoffs could not match up with Michael Porter Jr. I mean, they didn't have a guy that could do it. Reeves and them were too small. Vanderbilt was the only guy that could defend him, and then you're taking him off Jamal Murray. So then Jamal Murray was getting whatever he wanted. It was just kind of a crapshoot. And Montrezl Harrell was really a product, I think, of Frank Vogel, because Frank Vogel, if you remember in that Sun series, the Lakers lost, and I believe it was 2021. Yeah, because it was the year after the Lakers won the title. He didn't play Montrezl Harrell, and the Lakers weren't getting a lot of production from the bench. That was when the Lakers were up 2-1 in the series, and AD got hurt. Montrezl Harrell, that kind of relationship soured, but I mean, you're talking about 3 impact players, especially 2 with KCP and Kuzma, for a guy in Russ who never fit, and we should have known it was never going to fit. I mean, LeBron's always wanted shooters. He's always needed shooters around him. That's when he's had success. That's why Dalton Knecht is so exciting, because Dalton Knecht is a bona fide star shooter that LeBron can get the ball to and get it out of his hands. Getting a guy in Russell Westbrook who needs the ball, who is ball dominant. And yes, he puts up big numbers. Yes, he puts up triple doubles, and he's had a historic career. There's a reason Russell Westbrook's never won anything. And he had James Harden and Kevin Durant in Oklahoma City. Couldn't win there. He had LeBron AD in LA. Couldn't win there. Had Paul George, a prime Paul George in OKC. Couldn't win there. I mean, so it's a bummer. That definitely seemed like a LeBron move. LeBron wanted that trade. Obviously, he's good friends with Russell Westbrook. But definitely a bummer. And, the AD trade, people look back, they're like, it sucks to see Ingram and guys like that playing elsewhere. Lonzo's had an injury-riddled history, but Julius Randle. But that trade, or the Ingram and Zoe trade, you got Anthony Davis. So you can't really complain with that. But getting Russell Westbrook, a guy who played 2 seasons and didn't do anything, and giving up a really, blossoming young star in Kyle Kuzma, who's a really good player in this league, and KCP, a guy who went to Denver and gave the Lakers fits. Definitely not a trade the Lakers want to look back on, but hopefully they don't make that mistake again. Looking at Denver, okay, so this is the team that, as I mentioned earlier, tormented the Lakers. Swept them 2 years ago, beat them 5 games in the playoffs last year. The 20-point comeback, Jamal Murray, buzzer beater. The Lakers can play with this team. And they just seem at the end of the game, the last couple of years, they get nervous and they start kind of ball watching. And I know people have really criticized Anthony Davis. I'm really excited for AD tonight, because AD's been the guy in these series that people have really been frustrated with for not demanding the ball in the fourth quarter. Because in those playoff series, you forget it's Porter that killed the Lakers. It's Bruce Brown 2 years ago. It's KCP, Christian Brown at times. It's guys like this who carried the team for the first 3 quarters, and then Jamal Murray and Jokic take over in the fourth, and the Lakers were just gassed. And they weren't getting a lot from anyone else. So it was really LeBron and Anthony Davis carrying the team. D'Lo had a really rough series 2 years ago, had a really up and down series last year. It was really bad the first game, really good the second game, kind of up and down. He had 21 points on the second game and kind of got off to a hot start because he was really being criticized. This is not the same Denver team, though. This Denver team is not as good. That was kind of the secret sauce for them, is that they were really deep and they let their kind of supporting cast carry them until the fourth. They don't have that anymore. Obviously, Bruce Brown was gone last year. Then not Christian Brown. He's starting now. KCP, we just saw it with the Magic. He is not playing anymore. They wouldn't pay him. It's kind of coming to bite him back. Finally, the Murray contract, the Porter contract, the Jokic contract, and you realize you can't pay all the supporting cast like they had before when they were all kind of on cheap deals. So this team's really carried. The starting lineup: Peyton Watson, Michael Porter Jr., Jokic, Murray. Christian Brown has been really nice. We've seen him out of Kansas, I believe 3rd, 4th year player. He's kind of blossomed into what they wanted. They only play like 7 guys. And then Russ comes off the bench, and Julian Strother, who's a young player out of Gonzaga. So they lost last night to the Mavs, 123-120. Pretty wild game. The Nuggets were actually down 24 at one point. They came all the way back to take a 2-point lead in the fourth quarter. And Michael Porter Jr. really led that charge. So they went on in Jokic, excuse me. I mean, this team can score in bunches, but that was the Lakers' problem, is that this team could score in bunches and they couldn't stop them because the Lakers didn't have 3-point shooting. We have Dalton Connect now. The offense is not a problem for the Lakers. The defense could be better, but the offense, we can outscore this team. And so they're not as deep. Last night, Peyton Watson had 15 points, Porter had 17, Jokic had unreal triple-double, 33, 17, and 10. Jamal Murray, 14 points, 11 assists. Christian Brown, 17. Westbrook, 16. And then Strother had 3. So get him in foul trouble. They're shorthanded. Aaron Gordon is not playing. He should be back in about a week. He hurt his right calf strain a few weeks ago. So he's out. And Aaron Gordon's been another guy that kind of tormented the Lakers. So you're coming off a back-to-back. This team's going to be gassed. We were in a tough game. It's probably good for the Lakers that they came all the way back last night against the Mavs and weren't able to just rest their guy in the fourth. Had Kyrie and them just absolutely blowing them out. They had to fly overnight, out to LA. So this is a game the Lakers should be itching to get after. I mean, after a brutal loss to the Magic in a team coming to town that has tormented the Lakers, I think the Lakers should get back tonight. The line opened at 4.5 in favor of the Lakers. It's moved down to 4, so people are betting Denver a little bit. Another interesting little betting tidbit. It's actually the second highest total of the day at 235. It's only behind the Bulls and Grizzlies, who are at 240. So expecting a lot of points, not a lot of defense in this game. Vegas is saying, but we'll see. Hopefully, Lakers get back on track, flush that loss, and go beat these guys, because they have had the Lakers number the last few years, and hopefully that changes starting tonight. So thank you. I appreciate you guys. Alan will get you guys on the post-game show doing his thing like he always does. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you. Go Lakers.